Well, my name is Greta Schumann. I grew up originally in Liberty, New York, which is actually a small town located in the Catskill Mountains of New York State. I moved here when I was about 28, and I've lived in New Mexico ever since. Currently, my job title is I am the Vice President of Apprenticeship for Associated Builders and Contractors New Mexico chapter. And we are here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. However, we do serve the entire state. Whenever I introduce myself, I say I oversee our apprenticeship program. And what a lot of that is currently there are two different things. One, I do a lot of promotion of apprenticeship. When you have an apprenticeship program, you're doing two things. Your apprenticeship is the combination of on-the-job training with related instruction, with book learning. It really is a form of higher education. And so what we're doing here is we are taking individuals who have little or no experience in a particular trade and taking them over the course of 4 years from being an absolute neophyte to becoming an expert in that time. By the time they finish, they'll be ready to get their journeyman's card. They're ready to take over a job. They're ready to move on to the next step of their careers, which is a career ladder. So it goes from being an apprentice to being a journeyman, to being a foreman, to being a superintendent, a project manager, owner of a company. Construction has many, many success stories in it. And I would have to say that doing all of that, when you say, what is the favorite part of my job? Really, it's when the classes start. Right now, about 4:30, 5 o'clock, we're going to get an influx of about 170 people into this building. And the apprentices come in and the instructors come in, and I get energized. No matter how tired I feel, no matter how sometimes frustrated I feel, when they come in, I just feel renewed, because this is what the purpose is. I have individuals who've come through this program who turn around and tell me at graduation, they give me a big hug and they say, I wouldn't have made it if it weren't for you. Now, is that true? Not really necessarily, but I've been a part of that. This is the most fulfilling thing I have done in my entire life. It was not at all what I intended to do. It was not what I was trained to do. It's none of those things. And I think part of when we're talking about what was the relevant education, I kind of fell into this. My background is actually in the printing industry. I wanted to be a writer. I also had artistic leanings. I took art classes. I continue to take college courses and things that are going to help with running an organization. You have to have that. You've got to have people skills. I loved art. I loved music. One of my best friends is a composer in Los Angeles. He's composed music and been nominated for Emmys. And it's heartening to see people when they can take a path that really speaks to their talents. And when we reconnected and he started talking and asking about what I was doing, and I told him about this here, and he said, my God, you're so passionate about it. You're just so intense. And I said, that's the only way I know to be. My biggest loves were literature, English. My least favorite thing was math, but it was a necessity. However, with the math, when I got into courses that were related to business, I really excelled at that, which surprised me. So I had found it frustrating with some of the other math courses. When did a number suddenly become an integer? I was lost. But when we were talking about things to do with money and bookkeeping of things of that nature, so business courses were very good. I was more exposed to a larger world than what I lived in. And that's what, I think literature and books, and that's why I think, we spoke about lifelong learning. It's always important. It's not like you just stop reading, you go through high school or college or anything, and then you only read because you have to read this as an assignment, but you read for the enjoyment of learning something. And I think that was one of the biggest skills that I learned from school, was being able to see the pattern and the correlation between two completely different things and being able to understand it and apply it. Follow what is driving you. Follow something that is going to bring you happiness. Find out where that leads you to. And it's usually something that you have a predisposition for, that you have an aptitude for. Follow what your aptitude is. Forget what people say about what you need to be doing. Sure, you need to be able to take care of yourself and support yourself, but we can do a lot of things to support ourselves, but there are not that many things that we can do that can make us happy.